Today on MH Live, we're going to talk about how hard it really is to sell a manufactured home. People have no idea. They think it's really easy. You post a picture and that's it. That's not the real deal. And we're going to give it to you right here on MH Live. Stay tuned. Welcome to MH Live. We're back. I'm Dave Syracusa. We're here with Ed Salvatore. And we are the MH people, the MH Live people. Hey, listen, we got a great show today. But first, before we get into the show, I want to talk about something that's really important. Sunbelt was recently named in a trade magazine called MH Insider. And that really meant a lot to us. It's not just because of the recognition, but because it gave people a chance to see who we really are and how we really built this company. And, you know, that story matters because Sunbelt wasn't built in an easy market. It was built in hard times. It was built by adapting, staying sharp, learning, and how to keep moving. And that's the whole thing, right, Ed?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
We started in 2008. That might give you an idea.
Yeah. It was. 2008 is when we started, almost 19 years ago.
The housing market fell faster than a fat kid on a...
It was in a toilet. It was in the toilet. That's right. We'll just say it. But, because a lot of people think it's really simple to sell manufactured homes, and that's the whole thing. They think it's simple. They think basically all they got to do is throw it on Facebook and it sells. And, that's what we're talking about today, that it's not. They think it's, they think it's automatic, like a home sells itself, and that truth could not be more. People see the listing, they see the photos, they see the sold sign, but they don't see everything it took in between all that to get the job done. They don't see the team. They don't see the coordination. They don't see the calls, the follow-ups. They have no idea the problems that it can cause. They don't see the things that have to go right and all the things that can go wrong when selling a manufactured home.
That kind of leads us into today's question. Why do people think it's so easy to sell a manufactured home? Because from the outside, I guess a lot of people think it's simple. Take a few pictures, put it online, throw it on Facebook, and there you go. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, like I said. Yeah, it's not. And it's not just throwing it on Facebook. No. We're going to talk about how this business has changed, why selling is harder. Now with this episode, it's not about complaining, it's more about explaining. Okay, we're explaining. It's about telling the truth about what really goes on into selling a manufactured home. Because there's a big difference from selling a piece of real estate than selling a manufactured home. As someone who actually does it every day, we understand the difference.
Exactly. People see a home online and think the job is the post. They think the job is the picture. They think the job is the ad. No, that's just front door. That's just the beginning. And before we go too far, let's talk about the big question that's been in the back. How the hell did we get here? We talked about that last week. And because it didn't happen overnight, right?
Right. No, this business didn't wake up just one day and become harder. The market changed. That's what happened. The buyers changed. The technology changed. The expectations changed along with that. And we kept up with that, because we do meet people's expectations. And that's very common and that's very proven on as having a 4.7 star Google review.
Yep.
And,
over
330 customers. And those reviews are on the weekly basis. You see reviews filing in every week about the great job Sunbelt does. But so yeah, it didn't happen overnight, and the way people shop for homes changed.
And if you don't change with it, you got left behind. A lot of companies did, and a lot of people did, because there's still people trying to sell homes today like it's 1999.
Yeah, they are.
Those are good times.
I remember.
When I got into this business in the late 90s, the early 2000s, it was a different world, and pace was different. The communication was different. The tools were different. And the buyer was different. You had signs, newspaper ads, you had drive-by traffic, you had some phone calls, a little word of mouth there, and you had some community managers that were pushing you. You had somebody telling a friend or family member, hey, there's a home for sale, and it hasn't moved a lot, but the business is changed a lot.
Yeah. You also had me, and I was there. I remember I would sit there in a car, and I would look for, we called them deer.
Yeah.
I'd look for the deer, and look for the deer coming
Chase
through the
'em.
community. And I'd say, hey, are you looking for a manufactured home? I mean, that was back in the day. That was before I owned a company, when I was first starting in the business. But, I mean, that's what you had to do back then. We didn't have social media calling, hey, you want a home? We didn't have that anymore, you know? So the internet didn't dominate the way it does now. So
They didn't
not
have
even
addresses.
close.
We didn't have addresses.
No, oh, right.
When you're looking at things, you saw it in the paper. You never knew what the address was.
Right, right.
You just knew.
Well, back in the day, real estate, they had books. They didn't have the internet. You'd go
No.
into a room and you show them books of homes and pages.
No, but manufactured homes and leased land.
Oh, that was, yeah.
No,
Well, that was,
no.
you know what? Back in the day, we used to do it the same way. We'd take them into a book, and you can only show your own inventory. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know,
That's true.
We couldn't show everyone else's inventory. That's the thing. So, no, the internet didn't dominate the way it does now. Not even close. Back then, the information lived with the professional. And the information now is everywhere, or at least people think it is. And that has changed everything. People used to need that professional to find the inventory, understand the process, and now people can spend 20 minutes online and they think they know everything.
Well, and sometimes they just don't know everything.
Exactly. Sometimes they know what's right, sometimes it's half right. Sometimes it's dead wrong, and that creates a whole different kind of challenge, because now you're not just selling a home, you're correcting bad information, you're managing expectations. So how many times do I have to correct bad information from realtors? A lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
The realtors
That's
give
one thing.
people information on manufactured homes that just are not true. And I could have a story that I could tell about a manufactured home that was bought to move to another land, and the real estate agent and the person that was dealing with this person just didn't give him all the information on the financing part of it. And he was shocked when I filled him in. And I just don't think the real estate agent knew of it. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. You know, sometimes we have to manage those expectations. We have to explain the value. You're working through what people saw online last night and at midnight a lot of the time. Now, I get texts at 7 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Oh, I get it too.
2 o'clock in the morning. He does it all night long, the texts are coming in.
2 o'clock got shut down.
Yeah.
And that makes our job harder before you even get started.
Yeah.
You have to overcome what the misconceptions are that other people have done. Realtors in this market is a whole different show that we'll get into in the future.
It makes it much harder.
That's going to make you giggle, I'll guarantee
It
you
will
that.
make you giggle. It does make it much harder, because you have to earn. You know, when they're online at midnight and they're blowing through inventory on scrolling, just like they do on Instagram or Facebook, and they're blowing through inventory and they see something that catches their eye, you know, and then they send you something maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you know. You've got to build that trust. Not at 2 o'clock in the morning. We're not going to build it at 2, but we'll build it at 7 o'clock in the morning when they're sleeping again. We'll probably text them, but no. But that's, you know, what we're going to do is we're definitely going to try to get hold of them, but you have to build that trust. And earning that trust fast is what I'm talking about. That trust is hard to earn in a world where everybody is scrolling, comparing, and that leads to big misunderstandings. People think selling a manufactured home is easy. They think it's less complicated than real estate. They think it's a quick sale. They think it's a niche product that will move if it's priced right. But that's just not how it works, Ed.
No, because manufactured housing kind of has its own lane. It's got its own details, rules, and definitely the buyer's concerns. We'll pick up where we were putting down in just about 1 minute.
I would like to say Sunbelt Homes right here in Leesburg, Florida. We are selling brand new manufactured homes, all makes and sizes, all models. And if you need a manufactured home, you certainly want to stop and shop with Sunbelt. Sunbelt Homes, we are providing custom, actually ownership. I mean, we are providing custom ownership for you to build that manufactured home just the way you want it. If you want larger ceiling, taller ceilings, if you want blue carpet, whatever. We can do anything you want. Tray ceilings, deep farmhouse sinks. We've got it covered for you. Check out Sunbelt Homes at sunbelthomesales.com. They could find our website. We have such a lot of information in the library of our website. We have a lot of different pages about new homes. They could take a look at all the different floor plans and new homes. They can see about removal of homes. Our website's great information for anything in the mobile home business. But a lot of it is, I would say, talk to people like me. Pick up the phone and give me a call. That's the best way to do it. All right. All right, we are back.
In the middle of telling you about manufactured housing having its own lane. It's got its own details, its rules. It's a lot different than real estate. This is chattel property. The buyer's concerns are different. Community issues become a part of the buying experience. You have financing questions. Its own little title questions. Everything is different than real estate. Not everybody finances chattel property. It's got its own age questions, park approval questions, its own insurance questions.
And that's right. That's exactly right. And that's why we can't treat it like a lazy side hustle, like people do. Sometimes, hey, I've got a neighbor who's selling these things. And my neighbor says he just sold Betty's from down the street. If you're still trying to use the neighbor thing, that's the lazy side hustle that we're talking about. It takes a lot more in this market. Back in COVID, Ed, when the market was going crazy, that lazy side hustle paid people some money, but it's not like that anymore. That lazy side hustle is costing sellers a lot of money because they're not getting the representation that they need, like with a company like Sunbelt or any professional company. You can't treat it like that. You can't treat it like you just post it online and walk away from. That's not this business. Anyone who thinks that doesn't really understand what it takes to sell a manufactured home, why it's so hard to sell a manufactured home today. Because there's more moving parts than people realize. First, you have to get the pricing right. Not emotional pricing, not wishful thinking, not what my neighbor said. No, you have to get the pricing right, and that alone can be a battle because sellers are attached.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
It's their home.
Yeah.
They built it. They've got sweat equity in it. They've built memories there, and it's what they've put into it. It's money they need out of it. So right out of the gate, you have to blend truth with fact. You have to educate without offending, and you have to lead without losing the client. That takes experience. Then after price, you have presentation. Is the home ready? Does it show well? Does it need cleanup? Does it need better lighting, better photos, a better description? Do we have to explain lot rent better? In the community, is it better? And how do we value the community and the value it leads to the home sales,
It's just
marketing, and price?
A lot of moving parts. A lot. And none of that happens by accident.
No, that's work, that's judgment,
Yeah.
that's strategy. That's the difference between a home that gets looked at and a home that gets passed over.
That's right. And then you get into the marketing, and that's where a lot of people think the whole job is. They think marketing means throw it online and wait. No, real marketing is targeted.
And it's intentional. It's timing, quality, wording, placement, follow-up, repetition, and reach. It's not just, here's a home. It's how do we get the right home in front of the right buyer at the right time? Well, that's a completely different level of thinking. And this is where the team part comes in, because it takes a team of people to do this right. No one person, they have to have an experienced team with them, and that's important. Because some people think the agent or the salesperson is the whole show, and it isn't.
You know that, right?
It's not even close.
Not even close.
The person you see may be the face of the process, but behind that person, there are multiple moving parts. People helping with leads, people handling communication, people helping with photos, listing schedule, paperwork, buyer's questions.
That's right.
People help keep those deals moving.
You are going. You are on a roll. I'm just letting you go. I'm letting you roll.
When a company that is not totally experienced in manufactured housing, it's going to make it harder. And there are missed calls, slow follow-ups, bad photos, weak descriptions, confusing information, unanswered questions, and poor communication that deals make die. Not always because of the home was bad, not always because the price was bad. A lot of times because the execution was bad. And people on the outside just don't see that.
Let's talk about that. And you're pretty good at making sure we execute these things.
Yeah, I do.
You are the executioner.
Well, I
when
just
it comes
make
to
sure
manufactured homes.
when I turn in starts with the client in the field.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to tell you that if you're going to need some work, you're going to need some work. There's homework that needs to be considered when you're selling a house. Just like if you're selling a truck.
Right.
You'd at least empty the bed,
Hey, listen,
vacuum it out, do that, shine it.
I tell people, listen, you've got one shot at a commercial. We're gonna show your home to the world. Let's clean the counters a little bit. Let's make sure your bed is made.
Yep, there's a lot to it. The lighting was important to it also.
Absolutely.
But it's that front picture is important. The price is important. The description, what you're really detailing to the potential buyer, and the walkthrough.
And
of
do
the
you
house.
think the lazy side hustle neighbor, is putting any thought into all this?
No, absolutely not.
He's just hoping he's going to get his $500 when they sell the place.
Yeah, and at DMV doesn't chase him down.
That's right.
And IRS for his
That's right.
contribution.
That's right.
But
Because
yeah.
we're happy to put those names into the IRS. And
We're
the
waiting
DMV.
for you guys out
we,
there.
We like seeing those guys. But when the machine's not running right, everything feels harder.
It is.
That's what you just were talking about.
Yeah, and it is a harder. When we put in the actual listing, I'm following that up to make sure it's produced right. I'm checking the pictures, I'm checking the descriptions, I'm checking all the facts and figures, and then it goes out. If I see something that's wrong, then I correct it with one of the team members, whoever's in charge of that particular element. If it's the description, then we go over it and we make it right. But I try to follow up and make sure that my client is handled the way that I would want to be handled.
And that's not just you, but that's our whole process in Sunbelt. I mean, that's what we preach throughout, and that's why we give so many you assistants, right? And we give all of our agents assistants over at Sunbelt Homes. Sunbelt Homes wants to make the process confidently easy and seamless over at Sunbelt Homes. Hey, I want to talk about how marketing really changed back in the 90s. We kind of touched that a little bit, but in the early 2000s, back then, your reach was real local. Your window of attention was different. The speed of communication was different. And the competition wasn't showing up in someone's hand every second of the day either. Remember that?
No.
Right?
I remember that.
Everything they could now they can see your home, your competitor's name, another community, another city, another price point, another review, another video. I mean, all in 5 minutes. So if you're not sharp, and if you haven't done it before, then you're really not on the cutting edge of this whole thing. And you need a cutting edge website too. The website really matters. I mean, if you have a rinky-dink website and people are going to your website, and I mean, you could really tell a lot about a company through their website. Like you said, it's like going to the mall. Like if you're going into the mall and you're going to go into a store, you're going to go into a store that looks good, it looks professional, it's clean, it's sharp, it draws you into that store. And that's really what a website is. It's an online mall. And we always wanted, since we put our website out back, how many years ago was it, that really rinky-dink website, even though it was a rinky-dink website, because they all were rinky-dink websites back 15 years ago, okay?
Piecemeal them, yep.
Right, so...
some people have the same daggum thing.
Some of them still do, yes. We actually upgraded our website. It's sharp. It's sharp. It's a real website. It's a trust signal. It tells people whether you're serious, modern, organized, or professional. I mean, that's really what the website does.
And people decide fast, very fast. If your website looks old, slow, confusing, incomplete, people make judgments. They may never call. They may never ask. They may just move on.
Because there's a lot of other competitors out there.
Well, yeah, but if they can't, look, you got to keep it senior simple. That's the way I look at it, okay? If it's confusing, it's not going to be an easy road for them. So you have to lay everything out. If you throw out, like some of these realty companies, again, I'm going to have a whole series on realtors. But this is just a nugget for you. When you have to go through a bunch of houses and condos and horse ranches to find the manufactured home, and you're 60 years old,
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
it ain't gonna happen.
No.
So they go right off of your website and go
Isn't
to
it
something
great
else.
when you go on our website, you're seeing exactly
You can-
what's in your lane,
Yeah.
manufactured homes. Whether it's a brand new one, whether it's a used one, you go on to sunbelthomesales.com, you are going to see all sorts of information, learning centers, tools that will help you in whatever you want to do with the manufactured homes.
And that's part of the sales process, and that's one of the things Sunbelt understood. You cannot live in the past and win in the present. You have to adapt, you have to invest, and you have to evolve. You have to make it easier for people to see inventory and understand the product.
Yeah, and that didn't happen by accident.
No, it
That
was,
took vision, that took work, that took staying ahead of where the market was going instead of waiting to be found. That's the difference between a company like us and that leads and a company that's always playing catch up.
well, that kind of takes us to that MH Village thing, okay?
Okay.
I don't think
Yeah, you were talking about our
Uh-huh.
our editorial in
Yeah.
the MH Insider this
I don't
week.
think I don't think that registered with people. This is the magazine of all magazines worldwide for MH, for manufactured housing. The huge convention coming up here in April in Las Vegas. This is a statement piece, and it wasn't produced because of our past. It was produced because of our present and the way that we're making waves in this great state of Florida
Amen.
to give you affordable housing when it doesn't seem to be out there. We're going to find it. If you get on our website, sunbelthomesales.com, you'll find any price bracket that you need to be in, either the low budget to the high elevated. It's all there and everything in between. We have the best inventory that we've had in years.
Yep, absolutely. And Ed, we haven't, we've talked about the website. We've talked about how hard it really is to sell a manufactured home. We've kind of given them some backdoor views of how we do things, but we haven't even touched on social media yet.
No.
Haven't even touched on it yet, which people talk about all the time, but a lot of people don't really understand about it. And that's a true statement. Social media is a strong tool if it's done right. And it can be your worst enemy if it's done wrong. And that is not an exaggeration. That is the truth. Done right, social media builds attention, awareness, trust, personality. It keeps your brand in front of people. It gives people a window into how you operate. It allows you to educate the market, show homes, explain the process. It allows you to educate the buyers in the market. It allows you to give the information that's needed, and that is powerful. But done wrong, it makes you look disorganized, unprofessional, confusing. It can damage trust, spread bad information, and attract the wrong kind of attention. And one bad moment can turn into a really big problem.
Oh, so it's just not just about social media.
No. What you say, how you say it, how consistent you are, how fast you respond, how clear you are, how professional you are, how honest you are. All that matters, whether you're actually having a strategy or you're posting randomly. That matters.
Because a lot of people think posting is the strategy. Posting is not strategy. Random is not strategy. Loud is not strategy. A strategy knowing what you're trying to accomplish. Are you generating leads, building brand trust, moving a specific home, educating sellers, explaining the process, staying on top of their mind? You have to know the purpose of the content, because the wrong message can make a good home look ordinary, and the right message can make people stop scrolling and pay attention. And this isn't just about homes, it's about reputation. In today's world, people don't just shop the home, they shop the company, they shop the people, they shop the brand, and they look at the reviews, videos, the website, social media, how to talk, whether you seem open or guarded, honest or too polished. real or scripted. And that's why open communication matters.
Big time. Podcasts matter. Radio matters. It all matters. Hey, we've got a couple seconds left, and we've got a whole nother segment left. So we want you to stay tuned right here to MH Live. You want something that's very affordable. We could build something solid that's going to be very good. We'll build something really nice for you. It just depends on what you want and how far you want to go with it. Because you could build one of these just like a regular home. I mean, you can put more insulation in the ceiling, more insulation in the floors. We could put impact-resistant windows on them if you want. We actually can make them a smart home if you really want to go that route, but all that costs more money. So you always know what's going to cost with just your regular options. And then if you want a little bit something special or you think you deserve a little bit more, we're able to do that for you too. All right, we are back. MH Live. That's right, we're live talking about manufactured homes right here in Central Florida. Anything that has to do with manufactured homes, right now, we're telling you how hard it really is to sell a manufactured home right now. It's hard, and it's always been hard. And it's not a lazy side hustle for us. And if you are trying to sell your home, someone who's doing a lazy side hustle, not the right thing to do in this market right now, unless you're trying to give your home away. But we're trying to find value here still for our sellers and making a fair and a fair price of purchase for our buyers. And that's what it's all about. You know, we're talking about all the things that we do, and we're on social media talking about the social media, but what it comes right down to is communication does matter. It matters big time, and that's why we're here with a podcast show and a radio show. And you know, videos matter. We do videos of all of our homes, and we do reels. All of that is matters. It's intentful. People want to hear from you. They want to understand how you think. They want to know if you're straight with them. They want to feel comfortable before they ever pick up the phone. And that's something Sunbelt has leaned into. Our open communication, Ed, our full transparency, our real conversations that we have with people. People can call me, 352-638-1440. I'm the owner of Sunbelt Home. I'll take a call anytime and talk manufactured homes with really anybody. Now, don't just call me to call me, but if you really have a question, feel free. Go ahead, use the phone. Because I'm not hiding from the hard parts of this business. I'm not acting like everything is simple when it's not. Not pretending every home sells itself. Not pretending every transaction is easy. People respect the truth. And in this market, the truth actually helps.
Because it prepares people, that's why.
Yeah, it does. It really does. When sellers understand what it takes, they make better decisions. And when buyers understand the market, they move smarter. When people understand the process, there's less confusion, less drama, and people can buy confidently. And that's what we really push with Sunbelt Homes. We want you to make a confident decision when you're purchasing a manufactured home. It's strength. It's strength. So, I mean, now let's talk about why it feels so hard right now. Specifically, this market has had some, it's a little bit brutal, right? Buyers have been hit with higher cost, higher rate, higher insurance, higher monthly payment concerns, and a lot of them are nervous.
Well, nervous or uncertain, that is the question, really. They could be nervous or they could be uncertain. And these buyers take longer. They compare more, they pause more, they ask more questions, second guess themselves more, hesitate more. So a deal that may have moved fast a few years ago now takes more explanation, and that's just the buyer side. But there's so much in the market for them to evaluate. There's a lot of homes. We have a lot of inventory than we have in years. And it's all sitting around. And you guys, I emphasize this, buyers, strike. This is the time to strike. You need, you are...
Find a way.
You weren't warned when all the prices dropped and your house depreciated in 08, 9, 10, 11. You weren't warned about that, and you missed that window. We're telling you ahead of time right now, as buyers, this is the time that you should buy. When we look back at COVID, after you locked down all those people up north, they came out here, the housing market went sky high. There are people losing a lot of money, and you buyers should be able to take advantage of this right now. This is the time to get on websites. This is the time to check your 401, prepare, purchase, sell stuff, sell the RV,
Yeah.
sell the boat,
Right.
sell stuff that's not going to give you money, that's going to depreciate, and buy in to what we're putting down
But
there.
can you imagine if a financial broker was telling someone during a financial crisis, now is the time to buy. Buy, come on, you need to put some more money into the market. This is the time to buy during a downturn in the financial market. That's hard, but that's great advice because you're supposed to buy low and sell high.
That's
Not
right. Or
buy-
live low.
Or live low.
You don't have
low-
to. I'm
low
just telling you.
expenses.
This ain't about flippers. This is about people that have that dream about living in Florida. This is a forever home buyer. This is the guy that wants to be here for 5 years or more. This is not flip inventory. This is a great advantage of you coming to Florida very cost efficiently and living the life. And I bet you within a 5-year period of time, you'll sell that home for more than what you're paying for it today.
The market really doesn't care what you need. Okay? The market responds to value, condition, presentation, and location. Community, timing, all that can be had in the conversation, but when it comes right down to it, value for price paid and a good community living, that's what it's going to come down to right now. And there's a lot of great values out there. And if you go to sunbelthomesales.com, you're going to find some amazing deals right there, right in front of you. You're not going to believe it. When you could buy homes for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, why would you want to live in an apartment? Why do you want to live in a condo? I was talking to somebody just the other day how they hated living in a condo and they're so happy they're out of it. Walking their groceries upstairs, they were telling me. They hated that. That was the main thing they hated, was walking their groceries up the elevator, up to the 5th floor to the condo. They don't like that.
They were lucky if they had underground parking. If you had to walk across the parking lot
Didn't even
and
think
then
of
go
that.
up the stairs,
Yeah.
that'd be a whole different
Yeah,
thing.
she was complaining about it, and it's true. The market doesn't care what you need. The market responds to the value, presentation, and the location. It's very necessary. Overpricing a home just doesn't slow you down, It can hurt the entire sale. It can make the listing go stale. People can ignore it. It makes you miss the right buyer at the right time, and then you end up chasing the market down. How many times have someone overlisted a home, and then you find, after 4 months, you got to drop it. And you've told them, you should have listed this in the first place. I told you it needed to be listed $20,000 in the first place less. But they didn't listen to you because they're stuck on COVID pricing still.
Well, they don't want to lose money, or they listen to another agent that's barely in the business or has no listings and really wants a listing bad. They'll tell you anything.
That's
you
got to
want
be the
hear.
guy with the lazy side hustle dude.
That's lazy agents too.
Lazy agents too.
It don't have to be a side guy. It can be the straight up riding around with a sign on the side of their car, the only advertising that they can put out. And a business card, they got that expense too.
When a home hits the market, Ed, it's got to hit the market with force. It needs to look right. It needs to sound right. It needs to feel right.
Well, the first impression is everything nowadays. You may only get a few seconds of attention. So if the photos are weak, the description's weak, the information is confusing, this is not a time to be casual. This is a time to be precise. And there's also the human side of this. Selling a home isn't just a transaction. A lot of times it's a life event. Retirement, health, family, money, loss, divorce.
A lot of
change.
things.
They didn't ask for it. So they're not just dealing with a home. You're dealing with the emotion of the buyer, the seller also. It's just a matter of time. People who may feel overwhelmed, and that takes real communication. That's another reason it takes a team. Because when you're doing the right thing, there are too many pieces for one person,
Or way too many pieces.
or way too many pieces
Yeah.
for people to answer. Organize, market, follow up, guide.
Just
And
think
keep,
of it all.
Keep experience tight.
And
And that's how to create the momentum.
Yeah, just think of that all, Ed. People other companies, they don't have all the assistance. They just say, hey, go. You're an independent contractor.
They're trunk slammers. They don't have an office. They're out there.
Right. There's a lot of them. They don't have that organization. They just, hey, go on out there and go sell this home or whatnot. But
they have no network behind them, no network in front of them.
And they charge about the same or more than a company like us charges. And that's the big difference, because we give so much and we offer so much.
Yeah,
and
I always say it's the difference between going to Steve's barbershop and Stefan's salon.
There you go.
That's the whole thing, man. I'm telling you.
When a team is good, the client feels it, Ed, and they feel it immediately. They feel the speed, they feel the order, they feel the communication, they feel the difference between a professional operation and a disorganized operation. The business has gotten more professional, or at least it had to. You cannot win today with an old mindset approach. You cannot win today with lazy marketing. You cannot. Bad communication, no systems, or assuming the home will do the work for you. The market is too competitive. The buyers are too distracted. The attention span is too short. And the options are too many. And this is where I give Sunbelt credit. Sunbelt didn't just sit there and say, this is how we've always done it. Sunbelt kept moving. Sunbelt kept learning. We kept improving. We kept staying cutting edge.
And because there's a difference between saying that you're cutting edge and actually being cutting edge.
Right. Actually being cutting edge means investing in the website, caring about how homes are presented, staying consistent on communication, using podcasts, radio, video, and digital tools to stay connected to the market, and being transparent even when the truth isn't always easy. And that's what makes this episode so important. It's pulling the curtain back. We're telling people what really goes on, and it goes into selling a manufactured home, why it's not easy, why good marketing matter, why communications matter, why good systems matter, and a good team, why strategy. All this is part of the Sunbelt aura. This is what you get, and why experience still matters.
Because anybody can post, not everybody can sell.
Hey, that's a strong line. Can you say that again? Say that again.
Because anybody can post, but not everyone can sell.
And that is true. Selling requires reading the market, reading the client, actually it requires reading the buyer, reading the timing, reading the condition of the home, reading everything, reading the community. And it's about avoiding bad price. It's about not having weak photos, not having a slow response or poor timing. Anything else you can think of?
Reading the community, reading the moment, reading smart decisions all the way through. It's not something you learn from one Facebook post or one weekend of trying to do work over the internet and trying to sell your house. You guys out there trying to do this, and I have people, even if I have my homes listed, they'll tell me, I put it on social media. You're going to get a call from Debbie. Yeah, okay. Well, that probably not going to happen, because you told them stuff that Debbie's not going to call. You might give them my number, but Debbie didn't call. And then when Debbie calls, I qualify them up, find out Debbie's got teetering on a 435 credit score, and they want owner financing. People that are selling for sale by owners, I see less and less of those people, because they understand that it's a tough market out here. They just don't put their homes up for sale. The ones that are trying to, never forget this. The guy tells me, well, I'm showing the home, he's taking the buyer as soon as they come out of the house, and he's up there preaching another home down the street. And I walked up to him, he goes, you got to know that this is what we do whenever a sign goes up. That's fair game for us to talk to the client. Yeah. I didn't know that rule, and I don't think that rule is really considered.
It's not too ethical.
It isn't ethical, but the whole thing is
the lazy.
That's the lazy guy again.
Lazy guy again.
Yeah. But you can't be lazy when you're trying to sell your home. You can be thrifty. You think you're being thrifty, but actually it's costing you money, because that home could have been exposed by our company and sold a lot quicker than what you're doing. And Not even, this is a changing world. You're taking chances. Every time you're inviting people into your house, you're taking the chances.
That's right.
Think about that now.
And things happen. Things do happen. So, a home just isn't four walls. It's got value. It's got location, lifestyle, affordability, opportunity. It's really a solution for someone, so good social media does help tell that story. I think we do it pretty well through our reels and through our podcasts and everything that they're doing.
And we got all those flyers that Jackie's promoting and throwing them up there. That's some good information.
Yeah,
for
we've been
people,
doing
too.
really well. I think we've been doing very well keeping up in this market. But again, I think the people that are doing well right now are the buyers. The buyers coming into this market right now, and the ones that actually are recognizing what's going on, and we see the deals that they're getting, and they're getting some amazing buys.
And this is the time to get your forever home down here in Florida, your Florida forever home, whatever. But I'm just saying, buy now.
Buy now, yeah. Buy now, save later. Well, because you're going to be, by buying now, you're going to be saving now. So if you've got the funds, you've got the know-how, you've got the means, contact Sunbelt Homes. Go to sunbelthomesales.com and check out all of our inventory, over 200 homes that you can see. If you need a new home, go to sunbelthomesales.com and you'll find new homes there too. If you just need to learn something about the manufactured home industry, go to sunbelthomesales.com. We have a learning center. Hit that learning center, a whole bunch of information for you right there. Well, that's about it, Ed.
That's about it. We had a great time today with you on MH Live on the Cube.